All right, little bit of a hot take for you. Are y'all ready for this? Historically speaking, with culture shifts, you might would see one every so often. Not super often like you see today. So it would make sense if your grandparents didn't necessarily agree with your style or the way that you dress or your mentality or the way that you viewed life or the music that you listen to, the movies that you watch. When you were like 10 years old and your grandparents were looking at you like, you shouldn't be doing this. That's a culture shift that actually, makes sense and we can all resonate with. I think my hot take is this. Today, culture shifts are happening so rapidly and so quickly that at the age that I am, at 35 years old, I can't even begin to understand the way some of my daughter's friends think and their ideologies and the music that they listen to. So it's happening a lot more rapidly than it used to. And now we're living in a time where you might not understand the culture shifts from someone that's just 5 years younger than you. Now, why is that a problem? Well, I hate to use Charlie Kirk as an example, but that's why it's problematic, because Charlie Kirk's own peers basically have shifted so much in culture that they felt like he was an enemy to them based off of words that he spoke. And this lack of understanding amongst your peers is why people are having such a hard time finding middle ground, common ground, and meeting in the middle, because culturally things have shifted so much that the middle ground isn't the middle ground anymore. It is the furthest extent from where they are. So what can we do about that? Well, as a Christian, I think that what we should be doing about this is just enacting on people with the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, and pointing people to Scripture, pointing people to the Lord without the judgment, and let Jesus, once he if they were to surrender their life to Jesus, let Jesus do what Jesus does and change them from the inside out, rather than you trying to explain to them why they're so lucky and fortunate that they weren't continuing to head down the road that they were headed down, because that comes across as judgy in today's generation. And I don't think you should be soft about it, but I also think that with these culture shifts, you have to learn to meet people where they're at, because the middle is so far away to them. So we have to go further.